Hello and welcome to another edition of Pause for 3 Reloaded, my 15-minute Saturday morning discussion. Pause for 3 Reloaded is proudly sponsored by FlexiPay, Endless Possibilities, and my presentations are available on Facebook at Pause for 3 and on YouTube at Pause for 3 TV. During my presentations this week, I shared a message on fake eulogies and managing ungrateful people. And as I said, it is frustrating, and I mean extremely frustrating, when you have to deal with certain kind of people. People who are simply ungrateful or tend to be overly negative, and it does not matter what you do for them. I also shared a story about a depressed woman who was ignored but started getting attention. Immediately she died. And there are countless occasions like that when we could not make the time to visit a sick friend. We have all the reasons and excuses not having the time to check on that relative, friend or co-worker. On the menu today, and I mean this morning, we will be discussing why we must show love and treat our neighbors, friends and colleagues as our own during their moments of need. Essentially, how can we be each other's keeper and what blessings are in it for us? Reverend Ignatius Cobbina, General Overseer and Founder of City of Christ Church. I call him my Papa, but I'm sure you will call him Osofo. Osofo, welcome and good morning, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me on your show.
I'm sure that you've been watching our videos for the week, but what we are trying to talk about is the fake eulogies and how people simply forget that fellow feeling. I know that you manage a church. I know that your flock and other people who are not even members of your church come to you for various advice. How can we get them to begin to give that fellow feeling to other people who simply maybe do not need anything, but what they need is a word or two to keep them moving?
Okay, well, the church itself is a place where people come and seek comfort, because they are in various kinds of distress and trouble. And so if anybody comes to church, we must make the place available and receptive for people to be able to share their problems with us. But in dealing with your question on how we are able to deal with this effectively, there has to be structures that are put in place in the church itself. Because whenever you assume that things will be done by so many people, nothing gets done. And so the church itself must have a structure and an institution where people have been assigned to take care of others when they have issues. So for example, we have churches where we have counselors who deal with specific issues that people bring along. But these days, you know, things are changing. And for example, if you come to our church, we have families. So after church, the families meet and then they're able to discuss. They want to find out what is happening to everybody. And so in so doing, people are able to share their issues, and then if there are issues that cannot be handled at the family level, then it's sent to the pastor or the counselors to be able to take a deep dive into what the issues are and try and help people with it.
So there's something that is evident so far as our lives are concerned. We tend to celebrate the dead than the living, so that you're sure that somebody says that I need help, I need medical attention, please help me. Many people turn a blind eye to those pleas. But the moment that you hear that person is dead, you see all sorts of contributions and people running to their homes to commiserate with their families and all the things that people do when they hear that those people that needed that help desperately are dead.
Yeah. Well, I think we sometimes take life for granted, that life is so important. And that the person that you see today, you are seeing him because he has life. And because we take life for granted, we tend to postpone a lot of things. I'll give you an example. I lost my senior brother. And whilst we're at home mourning, one of my sisters made a statement which I will never forget. She said that I had many plans for my brother, but I couldn't share it with him. And now he's gone. And that was the source of her pain. That even though she had many plans, she never had the opportunity to even share those plans with my brother. And so when my brother passed, she started thinking about the things that she wanted to do for him.
And that was too late.
It was too late. So probably even if she had not started doing what she wanted to do, she could have spoken to him and then shared her plans with her. with him. But then sometimes, like I said, because we take life for granted, we think that people are going to be there all the time. You know, even in the act of giving, the Bible says that you give what you have, not what you don't have. So if you see that somebody is in trouble, the little that you can do to support a person, do it now. Don't wait until you have all the money in the world before you can start giving the excess. Nobody needs your excess. People need what you have now, because the little that you have is what can actually support somebody else.
So many people, and I can give myself as an example, have given up so far as giving is concerned. Why do I even have to give? Is there anything that I haven't given? And who appreciates it? There are too many ungrateful people out there. There are many people who also come to you the first time you are able to give them, and they make it a procedure. Every now and then they need to come for you to help them. Clearly, you get uncomfortable with it, and then you just give up.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't give up. First of all, people don't know how to show gratitude. And the Bible even gives us an example in Luke chapter 17, when Jesus met the 10 lepers. And he just saw them, they cried unto him and they said, "Go and show yourselves to the priest." And as they were going, they were healed. Once they got healed, one of them started shouting and came back and fell at the feet of Jesus and worshipped Jesus and gave thanks for what he had done. Now, Jesus made a statement. He said, "Were there not 10 of you? How come it's only you that is coming back?" And then he turned around and told the leper that, "Now go, your faith has made thee whole." The difference is that the rest, when they were healed of their leprosy, but they were not made whole. So just one problem was resolved. And so when you look back at Jesus, it means that because the man showed gratitude to what he had done, he went a step further to even pronounce him whole. So gratitude actually helps the person who gave to you to be able to, it encourages them to do more. So when people do things for us, we should be able to go back and thank them so that they have the courage to do more, because they see that what they have done is appreciated by somebody else.
Is there a word for an ungrateful person? How does that person repent? Can you simply say that you want to deliver an ungrateful person? Is there any deliverance procedure for such people?
No, there's no deliverance. We have to teach people. We need to show people by example. Okay? So for example, because I'm in church, if you need to be able to tell people how to be grateful unto others. But you see, even for those who are also giving, you have to understand that the act of giving is simply an expression of love.
But also, it's a very difficult thing. Giving is not as simple as many people think.
Exactly. But you see, because it is an expression of love, okay, the Bible says, "For God so loved the world that he gave." So the only way you can express your love is through giving. Now, the moment you stop giving, you stop loving. But we are supposed to love because God is love, and we have the character of God. Can you imagine the woman whose son was dead and Jesus raised back to life? That the day Jesus was in trouble and was being sent to the cross, they stood there and shouted, "Crucify him."
Is it a very easy thing to do, especially for you as a preacher, as a pastor, and your flock? How easy is it teaching them to be grateful, not only to the God that they worship, but to the human beings around who give them help every now and then?
Well, ingratitude will shut the door to your help. If you tend to be ungrateful, people will shut their door to you. It's very natural, because people are always looking for places where they will be appreciated for what they have done. And so if somebody gives you something and you don't go back and show appreciation, the word will go around. Others will know who you are. People will stop giving you help.
Don't you think that the church is partly to be blamed? Because people simply think that, okay, because I need help and God used her to bless me, I should go to church and thank God instead of thanking the person or being grateful to the person who really gave me that help.
Yeah, we need to be taught. You know, these are teachings that must come from the church, whether through Sunday schools or through family meetings or even from the pulpit. It has to be taught for people to understand that gratitude is what encourages people to do more, especially those who are in the position to give. If you don't show gratitude, you actually discourage them and you cut them off from doing what God has actually asked them to do.
Okay, so in rounding up, I just wanted to ask you, every now and then you go to one funeral or the other, and then you hear all these tributes. He was a good man, he would give you what he has every now and then even in the crowd, as you sit in the congregation, you hear people murmuring about, oh, he was a wicked man, don't mind them, they're just reading. You hear people's wives mount the pulpit and talk about how he was a loving husband, he took care of his children. Meanwhile, everybody knows that clearly he didn't take care of you. So why do we end up waiting till people die and then we tell them and we read all those beautiful tributes when in our hearts we are so sure that this is not the kind of life that that person lived?
Well, eulogy itself, I mean, the literal meaning for eulogy is good saying or good speaking.
What if there's none to say?
Is to say something good about somebody. Now, I look at it from this angle. Now, when you stand and you are reading a tribute to somebody, the person does not really hear what you are saying. People get carried away because they probably did not have the opportunity to say what they wanted to say to the person when he was alive. And so probably the best eulogy is to go to the person when he is alive and then say things to him as you mean it. And then when he's dead, you can come and recite the same thing back to us. But because we are saying good things, hypocrisy comes in, and then people start looking for words, and people can even plagiarize and go and take somebody's tribute and put it in their own, which has no relation to the person who is dead. And it's a lie, and a lie is a lie. You shouldn't lie about something. Even if you think you are doing good to the person, you shouldn't tell a lie.
And just before we go, I wanted to finally talk about the people who have given up on helping somebody, because they've been hurt so badly and they simply think, I'm not giving again because of how I gave him, I helped him the last time, how he treated me. Some way, somehow, somebody has been hurt through trying to be nice to the next person or trying to help somebody out of a very difficult situation. There are many out there who have thrown their hands up in despair and think that, listen, I'm so not helping anybody again. What is your final word to such people?
I think as Christians, we should always look unto Christ and follow his example. Like I mentioned earlier on, he came and died for us. In fact, the people who killed him were the people that he came for. But on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. It is because what he did was a seed that was sown. And when you sow a seed, that seed does not die. The seed will one day germinate. So the good things that you are doing, always remember that you are doing it unto God. You are not just doing it to man, but you are also doing it unto God. And one day, that person that has been ungrateful to you today will be in a situation and will remember what you have done, and they will come back and show gratitude to you. And so let us always expect that what we are doing it unto God, not unto man, because men are very wicked. The Bible says the heart of a man is desperately wicked. And so you cannot depend on the heart of a man to show gratitude, to show kindness unto anybody. Just look unto God and look unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith.
The heart of a man is desperately wicked, and it's 15 minutes already, and I want to say thank you, Reverend Ignatius Cobbina, for joining us this morning. And Reverend Ignatius Cobbina is the General Overseer of City of Christ Church, and I'm sure that you'll be looking out for him very soon. I'm going to tell you exactly where his church is so that you can go and worship with him. I always say that he's the best teacher we can find in town. Anytime I go to church, I learn something new, and I'm grateful to you also. I think that you have impacted on my life for a very long time, and this is my opportunity to say thank you to you. Thank you for making time with us, and don't forget that on Mondays and Thursdays we come your way with Pause for 3, which is proudly sponsored by FlexiPay, and on Saturdays at exactly 8 a.m. Pause for 3 Reloaded. It is brought to you by FlexiPay, Endless Possibilities. You can also follow us on YouTube at Pause for 3 TV, and also on Facebook and Instagram at Pause for 3. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.